Is ratchet the new standard for modern women? Are men and women confused by their roles in relationships and what men are actually looking for? Let's explore the dynamics from this show and ask yourself the question, is righteousness the new standard that men and women live by? And what are the implications moving forward? And I need you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician. Up there, feel free. We will not attack you. But if not, we're going to move forward. But there's an old adage that other women more or less keep each other single. Yaziz, what's your take on that? Are other women keeping each other single? And we're going to sign off in a minute. I got to get to the office, guys. But if there's anyone else that want to cam up or pop on for a few minutes in less than 2 minutes to talk, feel free. But in a nutshell, real quick, in less than 3 minutes, do other women keep each other single? And what did you get from this conversation?
Yeah, definitely. Women definitely keep each other single only because, you know, generally when you deal with an ecology of people, no one necessarily wants to be an outcast in no situation. So a lot of women are going to, if they're in a specific environment, they're going to make sure that they think and they project out what is acceptable to other women, because the women are projecting what they think is desirable and what validates them, right? So because of that idea of seeking validation and the role that women have been, what's been advertised to women as her role in popular and mainstream culture, a lot of women are, they're looking at other women and seeing, hey, if they match them as an ecology of people, and that's what helps keep other women single. They all portray the same idea, the same acumen, the same intelligence, to as if to show that they're in the know or that they're chic. And that's the problem with women. What I got from this show is that I learned 2 things. Is that there's a part of and from the chat and from everybody else, there's a part of Kevin that is about what he speaks and what he stands for, which is the brand. But the other part of it is based on where he feels he may need to go to get to in order to get the outcome that he wants, meaning that he'll compromise a little bit in order to get access to other audiences, in order for him to still give out his message to those audiences. But he won't compromise it if a Brittany Renner or Nicki Minaj comes in, because they represent opportunity, not the chance for him to act as Kevin does when he deals with regular women. And that's what I got out of this show.
Excellent, excellent. Coco Bunny, can you cam up, please? I don't know if you're a troll, so I know you're on. Can you cam up, please? Hello.
Y'all don't make fun of me. I'm from Kentucky. I'm a little country, but
I promise you. I promise you. I'm not going. We're not going to make. Cam up on the scene.
I'm moving. I got my hair is all over my head. I'm not a troll, guys. Okay. Look, I'm not.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Add to the conversation.
Okay. So I came in when you were talking about Nicki Minaj. I am a fan. And I heard you say, oh, she was ratchet and this and that and the other. I think she had done a live with Kevin Samuels. Me particularly, I don't particularly like Kevin Samuels. I don't even know why she jumped on there, but she did. Right. Now, I heard you saying that she was ratchet, and I asked the question. I said, "Well, I
just said she was ratchet."
I said I said that she was ratchet. That's what I said. She sounded from what she projected in that interview, based upon my impressions, and based upon the information she put out there in the environment. It is my conclusion that only a ratchet woman would talk like that.
Okay, so you're basing her judging now. You're judging her based off
I judge. I want to be judged, and I judge. I want to be judged hard. If people don't, I want to be judged hard, and I judge. I want people to judge me, hold me to a standard.
All right. So you judged her based off of her interview. Yes. Okay. And you just flat out said, if she wasn't rich, take away the money, and she's just a regular, basic, ratchet black woman, right?
Street woman, yes.
Street woman.
Yes.
Okay, but You also agree that she's talented, right?
Yes, she's talented.
You also agree that she's a businesswoman. She has multiple businesses, right?
Yes, she's in the entertainment business.
And she's smart, intelligent.
You can be talented, you can be smart, you can be educated and still be ratchet.
Okay.
You can be rich and be ratchet. You could be poor and be ratchet. You could be middle class and be ratchet. It has nothing to do with being ratchet. It has to do with the frequency of your mind.
But you just said take away. You said take away the money.
Right.
And she's a regular. That
right.
I don't consider someone as smart and intelligent as her as being basic and regular.
We don't know. See what I'm saying? I can become famous picking boogers in today's society, because at the end of the day, we know attention is the new drug.
Well, you have to be a pretty smart man to do that.
No, you just have to be.
You've got to turn boogers.
Okay,
into
let me
cash.
ask you a question. A C or D level actor right now in Hollywood is starving because reality TV is the new hit thing, right? Reality TV doesn't require any talent. The more stupid you are, the more ratchet you are, the more we like low frequency. Like the Kosher Clinician has an excellent channel, very intelligent brother, this space. He puts out quality content in the mental health space. That's why I support his channel, right? There's channels out here that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers that put out absolute garbage. I think his channel is more successful than theirs, but theirs are more popular, right? So if I was to base that just solely on his subscribers, can I say that they're more intelligent than him because they have more subscribers than him?
Well,
absolutely not.
I could take a poor man off the street and give him $1 million. He'll have to be smart to turn that $1 million into $1 billion and to keep it, because people win the lottery every day, right? And when they win the lottery, oftentimes they end up broke and penniless. Some of them end up homeless.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So in order to keep money, in order to keep businesses rolling, you have to be smart and you have to be business minded and business savvy. And everybody doesn't have it. Do you agree?
Well, that's true, but
so I wouldn't call her basic.
I'm saying, hold on, hold on. Let me add to this. I'm going to ask High Def. High Def, I allowed this young lady to come up, not because she's a woman, brother. I've allowed brothers to come up in the past. Typically, I don't allow people to come up on my platform without camming up because of trolls. There was a young man I had a show Sunday, I allowed them to not cam up. So there are times that I do grant grace. In general, I don't. But, sometimes there would be exceptions to the rule. So it's certainly not because she's a woman, because I've granted the same grace to men. But I want to add clarity to what Ingram was talking about. I think Ingram is correct, Coco Bunny. I do believe that the fact, just because a person has status or money, it doesn't make them, in my mind, any less ratchet. You can be ratchet with money, like Ingram said, or you can be rich and be ratchet. Listen, there are educated, intelligent women that are ratchet. I know some women that call themselves ratchet and bougie. They call themselves ratchet bougie, but they're educated women. So ratchet is not mutually exclusive. There are some women that
he didn't
ratchet.
Just call her ratchet though. He went on to say she was basic.
What I'm saying to you is this, okay? In the Black community, 25% of women are getting married. The guys are not buying the product, okay? The consumers are men. If you want to raise the Black community, you have to start with the nuclear family. The men are not buying regular women that behave like Nicki Minaj. It's 100%. Not selling. They're not selling. So regardless of what you say, we are still the customers. And if we don't want the product that you're presenting, we won't buy. And I'm telling you, with women, I'm not one of these guys in this space that pander to women for money. I'll tell you what sells. I just made a video about Lizzo. Lizzo does not sell. Nobody wants them 400-pound woman sitting in their house eating all the food out of the kitchen. We don't buy that. What I'm trying to tell you is most hardworking, successful Black men don't want the Nicki Minaj type regular woman. You can say whatever you want to say. The customer is not buying.
Nicki Minaj didn't create herself. Nicki Minaj was actually created. She's a product. If you take Nicki Minaj before the product, before they paid for her BBLs, before they paid for her surgery, before they took things from Little Kim and added that quality, put her on Young Money and everything else. And you take Nicki Minaj in her raw form with just her talent, she didn't have she was actually a very basic, pretty young woman. She wasn't one that you thought would have ended up being a CEO or whatever because of who she is. Some women you can understand from where they come from in a certain stock and what's because intelligence, remember this, intelligence is created. You know what's added to a person. Nicki Minaj's fame actually made everything else outside of it. And that's one quality that she did have, is that she was a great performer and she understood that.
She's a great performer and she's
intelligent.
She's also intelligent. She's very intelligent. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Can she still be intelligent with her clothes on though? Like take away, like what I'm saying is,
I believe so, because guess what? There's a lot of people taking off their clothes and have not gotten as far and built an empire the way that
it's
she
Megan
has
Thee
built.
Stallion, it's CardiB. Yeah. Who it's Beyonce, who's famous right now?
Nicki's a performer.
And who has clothes on at that level.
It
so what makes Nicki Minaj?
Oprah.
What
now Oprah is smart.
Oprah
is smart.
You cannot put them two together. It's too far.
What I'm saying, but you just said who? And
one at a time. One at a time. There's too many conversations going on. Go ahead, Lulu. Go ahead, dear.
Okay, so I'm talking to Coco Bunny. So firstly, let's understand the context of the conversation. This is a platform where we are trying to encourage the Black family, where we are trying to change the modernized toxic feminist views that Black women have right now. We're in the manosphere. So you have a man or a group of men saying that they are looking for this quality of a woman. Now, I just want to speak quality. Forget that she is Nicki Minaj, because when I compare Nicki Minaj, which is why I think Coco Bunny is being insincere, when I compare Nicki Minaj to Megan Thee Stallion to CardiB, then Coco Bunny moves the goalposts and then says Oprah. I don't think Oprah and Nicki are having a long conversation together. They're not even in the same sphere. Let me finish, Coco Bunny.
Okay, go ahead.
They're not even in the same sphere. You can say Kim Kardashian is smart. So is she smart because she released a sex tape? You can be intelligent and you can be wise to evil. I don't see a mother wanting to take their 2-year-old and say, I want you to grow up and be a Nicki Minaj, and I want you to emulate a Kim Kardashian in terms of what they have done in their careers, because their careers are centered around hypersexuality. So if you're speaking to the quality of a woman that Nicki Minaj is in terms of marriage, then that's the conversation you need to have. Don't be comparing her to Oprah, because that has nothing to do with the conversation.
Not as a quality as a woman. That is so true.
Okay, can I respond? Are you finished? Can I respond?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, no. Before you even mentioned CardiB, you said, you mentioned Nicki. You mentioned Nicki, and then you said, what woman? That's all you said was what woman has that level of success without taking off her clothes. And I said Oprah. So I responded to what you said right then and there, and then you went on to say CardiB, they taking off their clothes. So that's how I was responding to it right there, right then and there. You said what woman, and then I responded. So, but I do have a question for you. Do you think, and all of you, do you think the success of the Black family is totally dependent on the Black woman and what the Black woman is doing wrong?
Can I answer that question?
Go ahead, Ingram.
Kevin Samuels himself even said it. The success of a community cannot rise above the standard that women set for access to their bodies. And what that means is simply this. If women decided today that they were not... bodies, and what that means is simple. Let me repeat. If women decided today that men will not be allowed to have sex with them unless they all show up with a bachelor's degree and a credit score of 750, You'll see the lines wrapped around the buildings at the local colleges. You'll see what. Well, right now you can pick up WAP off the ground as it drops off the truck. Pick one up, dust it off. The fruit is not even on the tree; it's laying on the ground. You walk up to it and you pick it up and dust it off and take it back. Men have no incentive because we've lowered the price of access to a woman's body so low with these low frequency WAP type activity. Look at me. I'm a retired guy. I don't have to do a damn thing. You just call what they call it, DoorDash, and have WAP delivered to you. There's no work anymore, sister. What are you going to, you're not building any community with these low frequency women in low frequency conversation. The men are not going to level up to buy. That's why there's 54% of black men that are single and unwed. That's why black men are not marrying up, because you guys continue to defend the type of behaviors and attitudes and actions that these women represent that are not going to raise or elevate anything. Men are just sitting onto the sidelines. I have 3 boys, 27, 24, 21, all successful, all educated. They ain't even thinking about marrying nobody, especially in the black community. What I'm saying to you is, I'm an educated, retired man myself. I am the product. They are the product. We represent the product that women want to marry. And we're saying, hell no. Now what's in the streets?
So you're saying
powerful, Ingram, powerful.
I would like to add to this.
So you're saying no? Are you saying that yes, it does depend on the woman? Or are you saying no?
Well, let me add to what Ingram said. Let me add on to Ingram said. I think Ingram's saying it does depend on the woman, and I would like to add to that. And you tell me what you think.
Solely on the woman.
No. Listen, it's not solely on the woman, but she plays a major role in her own demise. But it's not solely on the woman because both are complicit. To be clear. Well, let's talk about the evolution of the sexual revolution prior. Prior to the sexual revolution, some of the most conservative ladylike women were black women. Black women were very conservative, and they respected themselves. But when our women got influenced by liberal indoctrination, they became the icons of the women that more or less subjugated them in the past. I want to ask you a question, Coco Bunny. If our sisters practiced the virtues of our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers and our mothers of the past, do you think we will have the high rate of out-of-wedlock children if they practice the same principles that their grandmothers practiced, which was respect your body, conduct yourself as a woman, and don't believe in sexual liberation? What's your take to that?
I grew up on those principles. I grew up very, very, very strict. Okay. In apostolic Pentecostal home. Now, it's not what it used to be. Apostolic Pentecostal is not what it used to be.
Yes,
but I grew up very, very strict, where you were, people that I grew up with were virgins until married.
Yes, ma'am. Right.
Okay. And we had certain values and certain things that we were supposed to do as women. But men also had certain things that they were supposed to do as men, which is supposed to be the leaders.
I agree.
80% of our men are in jail. Okay. So what you have is you have these mothers raising their children and trying to raise men and can't do it alone by themselves. So 80%. You have these
but hold on.
80%?
No. That's hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. It's not, sweetie. It's not 80%. It's only a small percentage. But
really?
It's not 80%. No, it's not 80%. That's
17% is giving 80% of women pregnant.
Right. That's exactly right. But Coco Bun, I appreciate your honesty, because I grew up similar to you. I grew up Church of God in Christ, Pentecostal holiness as well. You and I grew up similar.
That's the same. That's the same.
Yeah, you and I both grew up similar, but you answered my question to the point that you didn't answer it. I'm going to say it again. If women practice the edicts of women of the past, and on a broader context, whether they're in the church or this conservative women, do you think we would have the social ills that we have today? I do agree with you that men and women both are complicit, but the woman carries the higher onus. So if non-church women and conservative church women practice what your grandmothers and your grandmothers practice, saying you ain't getting none until you put a ring on my finger, do you think we would have the deterioration in the community?
Men would have no choice but to comply or go elsewhere.
Exactly.
Exactly.
There you
go.
That's it. There you go.
Great.
You're right, Coco Bun. Thank you, dear. You're right. You're correct. And that, let me get her some fire for your mind. She get a fire for your mind. point, she's correct. You're right. And I appreciate your honesty because that's what women understood. But when our women became sabotaged by liberal policies that say you can do what you want to do and you can, it's your right, there's a consequence for bad behavior. What Ingram is saying, because listen, I agree with Ingram. I grew up in high school in the 90s. Back in the day, you know, a woman's body was, or a vagina was like $9.99 on the pound. But now it's damn near like Walton the Bone. It's like 99 cents. It ain't worth a damn because men don't take it serious because women took away their virtue by giving away so free. And guess what, Coco Bunny? It's not every man. Most men are not getting action like that. It's only a select few of men. They've done studies there to say that 30% of men are virgins. So it's not a lot of men getting a lot of action. It's only the top 20% of men that are getting that action. You know, and the other men are actually invisible. But before you add to it, because I appreciate your honesty, dear. You're very honest. I appreciate that. I want to give a special shout out to my man Al to Prayer. He said I had to donate a little something to the collection plate, Coach. Your brother Ingram, I believe his name is. He was speaking nothing but straight facts, no doubt. Ingram is a scale balancer, no doubt, and I appreciate it because Ingram is keeping it 100.
Right, that's a deal, right? That's a deal.
And I think Coco Bunny, if most women thought like you in terms of using that logical precision, we want to have the issues that we're having now. So go ahead, sis. I appreciate your answer. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I wanted to highlight a talking point of that. I believe that you know the women need to let the women that's coming behind them know the value of us men. And also in these days of time, it's like it's nothing. It's just like what Ingram and them was saying. It's like it ain't nothing to compete for no more. Shit, it's like I'm not going up against Ingram to get at this woman before Ingram because it's like we're on the same playing field these days. So you know, basically, what I can see the hardening facts is that these women don't see the importance of a man. They don't see the importance of our guidance and our safety and well-being. It's almost like we're looked at as if we are pets or something.
That's a fair point. But I appreciate your point. Coco Bunny, did you want to add something else? And then Lulu Bean, if you want to counter. I'm gonna sign off in a few minutes. I gotta get to the office. But Coco Bunny, did you want to add to what the gentleman was saying? And
I just thank you guys for your honesty. I think I was just a little bit triggered because I do not like hearing Black men talk about Black women. And I don't like hearing Black women talk badly about Black men.
Right.
And it seems to me like I get onto these YouTubes and I'm just listening. I might, go to one and I'm listening to one and the women are talking about the Black men. And I don't like that. And then I'll go to like a show like yours and I'm hearing Black men talking about Black women. Why? I just don't like the fact that both sides are talking about each other, pinpointing.
But this show was not. But this show was not.
Just let me finish, please.
Right.
I just feel like that both. I think we should be very, very sensitive to each other, one another, and I think that we should listen a lot more. And I think you should see the women's side of it just as well as women see the men's side of it. And it's not always everything that the men say isn't always actual and factual. And everything that the women say isn't always actual and factual. But we need to come to a common ground to where we're not doing this anymore.
Well, listen.
Because
go ahead.
Can I say something to the young lady?
Let her finish first.
Go ahead, sister. Sorry, my apologies, sister. Go ahead. My apologies.
I think that what we're doing is we're not resolving anything. I think that what we're doing is we're giving outsiders, and when I say outsiders, I mean outside of the American experience, the African American experience. If you weren't born here, then of course your values are going to be a little bit different. The man is always the head of the household in every country except the African American experience. And when I think about it, it's not totally Black women's fault, and it's not totally Black men's fault. And the reason why I asked you, do you think that the issues are solely dependent on the Black woman? I was looking for a different answer. I wasn't looking for you to blame Black women, and I wasn't looking for you to blame Black men, but I was looking for you to blame our surroundings in our traumas and what we've been through. I was looking for you to maybe find a solution to our trauma. We have a lot of trauma, guys. And I mean, this is generations after generations after generations of trauma due to the welfare system, due to our years and years of slavery, due to us not even getting our 40 acres in a meal.
I'm sorry, we can't blame slavery. I'm so sorry.
Sister, I have Brother Kosher, I have to respond to this. Here's the difference, okay?
Right, go ahead.
If this was a show for a panel full of Black women, and they were talking about ratchet Black men, I'm not going to pool those Black men in the same pool with respectable brothers on this panel. Right. All Black women are not the same. Some Black women are respectable and virtuous, and they deserve a certain level of honor and respect. Like, sister, you came on this show, you're respectful, you're articulate, you sound like a very intelligent sister. I put you in a higher category than I would put Nicki Minaj. So I'm going to deal with you different than I deal with a ratchet woman like Nicki Minaj because of the way you come across as a respectable sister. The problem with Black women is you defend women that are ratchet. You see, I'm not going to defend no Black man that is trash. If he's a trash man, he's not an honorable man. He's committing crime in the community. He's tearing up the place. I'm going to jump 2 foot in his ass because he's destroying the community. He's destroying his people.
100%.
I'm not going to defend no ratchet Black man.
Amen.
Our sisters need to stop this sisterhood and hold each other accountable, which is the biggest problem in the Black community. You allow these low frequency women to ruin your image, good Black women. You don't hold them accountable. You allow low standards in our community. And Black men will hold Black men accountable, but you guys will not hold each other accountable. The biggest failure in our community. That's why some of these women behave the way they behave, and they have flooded the market with low frequency WAP. No standards, no morality.
Let me say something. You're right, Ingram. I agree with you 100%. You know, one of the greatest struggles, Coco Bunny, that a lot of women struggle with, they want men to speak the truth based on how they feel. So I am a licensed therapist. If you listen to what I said coming in early, I talk about vicarious trauma. I talked about it. So you can't come in on the back end if you didn't hear the whole message. I talked about that. I talk about it all the time. I talked about it several times on my show. I don't know if you're a subscriber or you just popped in, and I appreciate you watching.
Popped in.
Right.
I didn't hear the beginning.
Right. So I talk about that all the time. But at the same time, we can't be victims of our own ignorance when we're more or less complicit in our own bad behavior. You are correct. Trauma and vicarious trauma play a role in the demise of the Black evolution and the Black family. But watch this. There was more trauma in the earlier stages of our evolution as a Black family and Black community, but yet we were still more cohesive. Now, we could argue that we were functional in our trauma, but yet our families were more intact, our women were more conservative, and we had a greater abiding faith in God. You and I both grew up in the church, Pentecostal holiness. But what happened after the 60s and around the 90s, things start going from bad to worse, to even worse than now, to the point now, if you condemn or more or less criticize anybody, it's a problem. You grew up in the church, and the gospel says this. The Bible said that a time will come, Coco Bunny, when they will not love the truth. And so anything that's a semblance of truth, people become in their feelings because the Bible said they love not the truth. So if a man speak the truth in love, if he speak it in assertion, if he speak it in aggression, people still don't love the truth, Coco Bunny, because it's kosher and it's fit and proper. Regardless of how you say it, people still gonna get in their feelings. You can say it soft and kind, they'll get in their feelings. You can say it with aggression, they get in their feelings. So we live in a time now where people just don't want to hear the truth, you know? And one of the biggest things about when women come into men's spaces, they get in their feelings because they want men to tell the truth based on how she feel. The truth doesn't give a damn about your feelings. It's just the truth. It doesn't care about my feelings. The truth is the truth. And so I think women got to be cognizant of that when they come into these spaces. Brothers in these spaces love sisters. You appear to be a very attractive woman. Lulu Bean's an attractive woman, but she's a very conscious and a very cogent woman. So we don't hate black women. Actually, the reason why we are talking about these issues is because we do love women. But would you rather black men be like a lot of black modern preachers that tell women what they want to hear to get the collection plate? Or would you rather for those men to speak the truth in love and stand firm on what they believe in? Which one would you take? Because we live in a time now, you got to have a conversation. But our people are so, how can I say it, so sensitive. Anything that you say, the semblance of the truth, they get in their feelings. And what men are saying, listen, I can't be pigeonholed as a man to always assuage your emotions as a woman. I got to be willing to speak the truth with clarity and conviction, even if it's to my own embarrassment or my chagrin as a man, if that makes sense.
Can I come in, guys? Because I'm at work. I'm so
Let's
sorry.
go ahead, Darren. I got to go in about 3 minutes. I got to hit this off.
So,
Hey, Kosher.
I just-
Kosher.
Go ahead. Let Lulu speak real quick.
My apologies. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I'll be as quick as possible. I just want to speak to a few things that Coco Bunny said. So the first being that, like Ingram and the man on the and Kosher and the man on the panel said, as soon as men ask women to be accountable, we will go to, well, we should both have something to say. Black men are saying this and women are saying that, and again, that is insincere. That's where we go to again. That's goal shifting, where it's both of our fault. Black men, as there's a quote that I will not forget, Coco Bunny, and it has stayed with me. And it was on the Lapeef show, and this man said that since the beginning of time, the black man was less than human. He was a slave. Then he was a super predator. Now he's a Pookie and a Ray Ray. So at no point has the black man been empowered in any way to oppress the black woman, and that has stayed with me. So the time is over where we blame black men for the breakdown of the black community, because the black man has been blamed by society, including the black woman as a whole, up till today. It's time that the black woman also gets to feel the same brunt that the black man has been called. We are ratchet. Look at the music we're listening to.
Right.
Look at the women that we defend. Look at who you called in to defend. We are ratchet. We are the problem, whether we are married or not. All of us. There isn't a thing such as a good woman or a bad woman, because we have to raise our black men and we have to raise our black daughters to change the current situation. So all of us are wrong. It is no longer the black man's fault. It is our fault. All of us. And then in terms of, we are giving outsiders a platform to speak. When Obama became president, you would have thought he became president of Africa. We were celebrating with you. That's how much influence Black American brothers and sisters have on the Black diaspora. The way we dress, the music that we're listening to, you as Black Americans dictate that direction. So when you're talking about outsiders and it's the Black diaspora that you are leading, whether it is in a good direction or in a negative direction. The Black diaspora as a whole looks to you. So that should tell you who you are as a people and the importance of who you are as a people. That is the responsibility that you have, and you've decided not to take that mantle. But you've been very unfair, I feel, coming on the platform. Like I said, you've defended Nicki Minaj and you're blaming black men, and that time is over. The black man is not responsible for anything anymore until we are vilified in the same manner that he has been vilified. It is not the black man's fault, sweetie. It's yours and it's mine.
I don't think that I put it on a black man at all. That's not what I said. Did you hear?
You did.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes. Yes.
Did everybody hear what I said? Did everybody hear what I said?
Both the black man and the women's fault.
That's not what I said. I said I was not looking for him to blame black women. When I asked that question, I was not looking for him to blame. You're not listening, darling. I said
right,
I was
let's
not
not
listening
argue.
for him to blame black men, and I was not looking for him to blame black women. I said I believe that it's due to our trauma. You were not paying attention to what I was
You're
saying.
gonna blame
And
everything
80%
else
of us is
except
in
us.
prison.
That's
And
not what I
remember,
said.
80% of us were prisoners. So I think
No,
that's a
Exactly.
that
lot of
doesn't mean
blaming
that
when
I'm
It'll be
80% of
everything
blaming.
us are
except the black
prisoners.
woman.
Listen to, I said that that's part of our trauma. The reason why that you guys are, the reason why majority of us are in jail. You're not actually. I don't think you all are understanding what I'm trying to say. So let me say it again and make it plain and make it clear so that you guys do understand. When I went in and say that most of our men were in jail, and then I went to say that, do you think that the success of the black family is totally dependent on the black woman? And you all were like, yes, because, you know, if we were dressed a certain way or act a certain way or whatever like that, if we were, you went to sexual, the host, he went to sexual, if we were to basically respect ourselves a lot more. And I said, well, yeah, that, you know, if we did that, they would either have to comply or go elsewhere. And I agreed with him on that. Okay. But I also said, I believe that I was looking for you to say that, yeah, it was due to our trauma. And then he went on to say, well, you did not listen to the beginning of what I said. I think a lot of the times people don't listen and comprehend, or you're not retaining, are you're taking certain things that I say and then you're retaining it and then making it a certain way that it's not. You have to understand and you have to listen to what I'm trying to say. I did not blame black men. Not once did I say it's because of the black man. No, you've never heard me get on this panel and say that. You never heard me get on this panel and say that it's because of the black woman.
I'll
Yes,
say
I
this.
said the reason why that it bothered me that he was talking about Nicki Minaj is because I don't like to hear black men talk about black women, and
I
I
would
don't
say
like
this.
hearing black women talk about
Let
black
me say
men.
this.
Hey,
That is what I said.
Wait,
I
all
would
right.
say
Hey
this.
guys, hold on. Too many people are talking. Go ahead, Yaziz and then Ingram.
Yeah,
Real quick. Go
I
ahead,
want
because I
to
have
say
to go.
this.
Real quick.
Okay, for the point that Coco came on here was to defend Nicki Minaj, and you have made mention that Nicki Minaj had said black people need to eat black men need to eat a penis, right?
Right.
Just from her simple Christian background,
Right.
what comes, it's not what goes in a person's mouth, it's what comes out of a person's mouth that defiles them.
I totally
that
agree.
alone should cancel Nicki Minaj, because what came out of her mouth defiled her, period.
I
Right.
agree, but like
Well,
I said, I did not come in on the beginning. I did not hear
but
that
sister,
part.
sister,
That's
sister,
what I'm saying.
sister, what I'm saying to you, if that would be like me on this show defending Future, I am not going to defend Future. I'm not going to make any argument that he's intelligent, a good businessman, he's this and that. He's terrible for the black community. So I'm not going to defend a low frequency dude, not even just because he's rich. I'm not going to do that. What I'm saying to you, the difference is, you see how I'm holding him accountable? You're not holding, just because somebody, you know what I'm saying? Once you start let me drop a gem for some of you sisters out here. If I look on your social media account, if I'm dating a woman, if my boys are dating a woman, and they see Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, and all those things in the background on your social media pages, who you admire and worship, immediately you get dropped into pump and dump status, because that, say, who you support is a representation of who you might be. I say might. That's how men look at it. And I try to teach women about that. Clean up your social media, because you have these social media platforms where you support a lot of low frequency things. Men put you in a certain mental category. Well, she must be that, or she must be that, because this is who she support. You're pump and dump, and you may not believe it or not, but that's how men view things. Is it fair? Maybe not. You might be a good person beyond that, but I see a lot of professional, educated women defending Meg Thee Stallion, defending CardiB and all that. Men think of that as low frequency activity. They're not trying to wife up no woman that has a social media plastered with low frequency women. They assume that's you. And that's a gem for the women for free. You're not going to hear it from Steve Harvey, Derek Jenks, or any of these other simps in this space pandering to women. I speak from the perspective of the customer, which is men. I have 3 boys, 21 to 27, well-educated. They see that, they're not buying. That's just the reality of life.
No doubt, no
Okay,
doubt. And I think that's why these conversations are so important. But listen, young lady, in less than 2 minutes, I have to go. I appreciate your clarity and your precision and you trying to add to the conversation. Thank you, Coco Bunny. Hopefully we can have more discussions. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. As you've noticed, I'm very fair. You might not agree with all my positions, but I've been very judicial in my response. There are some content creators who will say, I'm talking, or they'll mute you, but I try to be fair. So finish up in less than 2 minutes, young lady, and I really appreciate what you've added to the conversation. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to, I didn't want to even get in the chat. They just kept asking me in the comments.
Right.
They kept asking me in the comments, and then you asked me to get in the chat, actually.
Right.
So then I got in the chat. All right. So I only got in here because all I heard was that Nicki Minaj was ratchet. Now I made a comment in the comments talking about what is ratchet. And then everybody asked me to get in the box. So that is why I got in the box, just to clarify. Actually, you are right. It's not 80%. It's 34%. I did look that up. My bad. But a lot of us are in jail. And I did just say that just to say that I feel like that it's due to the system, that a lot of the reasons why we have so many problems is because we're fighting a lot of things. And that's the only thing that I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to clarify. And that's just it.
Well, listen, I appreciate it, dear. Thank you for your precision once again, your ability to be cogent, responsive, and also accountable. And I do suggest that you go back and look at the beginning of the show. This show was talking about the inner sanctum of masculinity and why men should preserve their inner sanctum as it relates to dealing with power, fun, freedom, survival, and belonging. So I appreciate it again, Coco Bunny. Hopefully next time you come up, so we see what you look like.
I will definitely do that.
But I appreciate it, dear. Thank you. Thank you for the conversation.
No problem.
So real quick, Aziz and Lester.